Today we're doing speed reviews. I went through and tried to gather up the products that I've tried since my last speed reviews, which was quite a while ago at this point. So I had a lot of products to talk about. I did eliminate some of the more recent things and I'll include them in my next speed reviews just because I felt like I had not tried them enough to give you my real thoughts on them just yet. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm gonna try very hard not to talk too much in this video, but remember, I do love speed reviews, but I also love to tell you why I don't love something, kind of compare it to other things, etc. So let's get into it. The first thing is a very easy, absolute love from me, and it is the new e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter. I have this in 4 different shades. I use some of them, I use them depending on my skin tone at the time, whether I have self-tan on or not. This is shade number 2, and that's what I do have on today. I absolutely love this. It is 100% a dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. That means a lot coming from me because I love that product. One of my favorite makeup products of all time, but I have been reaching for the e.l.f. one just as much as my Charlotte Tilbury. So if you haven't tried this, I think it's sold out a lot of places right now. I do know you can get it at Target now, I'm pretty sure. This is fantastic. It gives you the same luminous glow as Charlotte Tilbury. I do think that e.l.f. gives a little more pigment to your face. That probably doesn't make sense. A little more. It's not quite as sheer to me as the Charlotte Tilbury. It gives you the same glow, but it adds a little bit of color, a tiny bit more coverage as well. But I love it. Highly, highly recommend it. My next kind of priming product is the Ole Henriksen Banana Bright Face Primer, but this is the Sunkissed version. I bought this mainly because I always wanted to try this primer, and then I believe they reformulated it and came out with this one. So I got it. Basically, it is the original Banana Bright primer with a little bit of self-tanner in it. So over a few days, if you use this consistently, you'll get a little bit of color to your face, and it does work. So I want to say that. I will say I don't reach for this a ton. I should have thought about this before I bought it, but if you use any type of self-tanning drops for your face, or you do self-tan your face, or maybe you use a foundation that's a little bit darker anyway to match the rest of your body, this is not really a necessary step in terms of the self-tanning aspect, because I know a lot of people do use self-tanning drops. I do as well sometimes, and I find that if you go in with this as well as an already self-tan face or an already deeper foundation, it looks a little too dark. So I think if you do any of those things, you could probably skip this. I don't think it does a whole lot in terms of making your makeup last longer or anything. So I would personally probably skip that and just stick with your normal self-tanning products. The only foundation I've tried since my last speed reviews, I'm pretty sure, is this one from Hourglass. It's the new Ambient Soft Glow Foundation. I did share this in a trying new makeup video that I can link above for you if you want my first impression of it. But this, you guys, I can now tell you, is up there with the NARS. If you've been here for a while, the NARS light reflecting foundation has been my favorite since it came out. I absolutely love this, and I did mention in the video where I tried the Hourglass that it reminded me of this, and I still agree with that. I think the Hourglass gives a slightly fuller coverage, and I also think the Hourglass is a little more, I hate to use the word blurring because I feel like that word is kind of overused, but I really do feel like this slightly blurs your skin. If you struggle with a lot of texture or really pores, I do really just in my T-zone in this area, it looks really flattering and smooth on that part of my face, which I absolutely love. But I did want to say today I actually mixed these two together. I had mentioned a few videos back I wanted to try that. I've been doing that the last few days, and oh my gosh, you guys, I'm not telling you need both. If you have one or the other, I don't think you need both. I have both, so I'm going to mix them. I love the effect. So if you do happen to have both, try mixing them and see what you think. I love this. These, I can safely say, are my top two foundations. I've also tried a few color correctors since my last speed reviews, and the first one is absolute favorite. Love the EXA High Fidelity Color Corrector. This is so good, you guys. The coverage is amazing. If you have pretty dark circles, I wouldn't say this works for like severely dark circles because this is a liquid color corrector, but it works really well for me. The formula is really nice. It's a bit of a thicker consistency, but it looks really beautiful under concealer. Honestly, I can wear this on its own and I don't find that it settles weird. The color I wear is peach and I think it is fantastic. This does come in 6 different shades depending on your skin tone and what you're trying to correct. This is a 10 out of 10, 100% recommend from me. I did also try the COL-LAB No Flaws Liquid Color Corrector. This one is good. It's a little bit of a thinner consistency, and I would say the color on this is a little more orangey. It's not super orangey, but a little bit more orange than the EXA one, and this one does not cover as well. It's a little bit of a thinner formula. This one from COL-LAB you can get at Sally's, but it is kind of harder to find. You can get the EXA several places online. This one is good, but it's definitely not my favorite. It's a bit thin, so unless you have very, very little darkness, sometimes I find this doesn't give enough correction for me, and it's not a super buildable formula. So of the two, I would definitely choose the EXA. Next, we're moving on to bronzer. I have tried quite a few bronzers in the last few months, so I'm going to try to go through them quickly. The first one is the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Bronzer. If you've been watching my videos, I originally bought this in shade medium. I liked it, but I didn't love it. I just felt like the shade was a little bit off for me, a little bit dark and just kind of difficult to work with. So I did end up selling that on my Poshmark. I will list my Poshmark below. I do sell things that are new or barely used on there sometimes. But I did end up doing that and buying the fair shade. And ever since then, I have been reaching for this so much, you guys. That is the bronzer that I have on today, and I love this. It is a very unique formula. It's cream to powder, so it definitely gives more of that matte look, which is not always what I go for, but I actually kind of like it lately because I do wear a lot of glowy face products, a lot of glowy primer, a lot of glowy blush, so sometimes I want something more matte. That is what I use. That's one of the things I love about this. The other thing that I love is this bronzer lasts on my skin. I never feel like it kind of fades throughout the day. It looks the same throughout the entire day. It really kind of sets down and it really stays put. I also tried a few products from Makeup by Mario. So I tried the Skin Perfector and the Skin Enhancer. So the Skin Enhancer is the creamy product. I wear the shade light medium in this. This is a very interesting consistency. It's got to be one of the thinnest products I've ever used. It is a true gel consistency, very thin gel consistency that does not give you a whole lot of pigment. It's very, very sheer. I really only reach for this on no makeup days, but I do enjoy it. However, I think it is almost identical in terms of formula to the Saie Sun Melt Cream Bronzer. This one I tried as well. I have the shade Light Bronze in the Saie one, and I like both, but I don't think you need them both. I think you need one or the other because they're that similar. And I honestly prefer the Saie formula just a little bit. I find this formula is a little easier to apply on my skin, a little easier to blend. The Makeup by Mario is easy to blend also. I do find sometimes I almost blend this one too easily so that it kind of blends away. But they're both very nice. I don't dislike the Makeup by Mario, but I do like the Saie one a little bit better. It's that same thin consistency. It's just a little bit easier to apply, in my opinion. And then I also did get the Skin Perfector from Makeup by Mario. So this came out the same time as the Skin Enhancer. And it's kind of taken me a while to get the hang of this product. So basically you get a face powder, more of a glowy kind of highlight, and then a powder bronzer. And the idea is you kind of mix them all together and go over your skin enhancer, and it's supposed to kind of set everything down and really kind of blur the skin and just make it look really flawless and airbrushed. I like this, but I don't think it's necessary. I do think it works in terms of setting the product down. I don't know how much blurring I think that it does. I mean, I think it looks beautiful. Today I do have it on over the Charlotte Tilbury bronzer. I just don't think it's a necessary product. I think it's nice, but not necessary if you already have a powder bronzer that you like. I did also try the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear Bronzer. I have shade Light Medium, and this is one that I loved initially, and I do think it's nice. I think it's a really good bronzer from the drugstore. I do find, for some reason, it can be a little bit patchy on me, depending on what I have underneath. I find that I like it a little bit better if I use it to kind of set a cream bronzer as opposed to just using the powder bronzer on my face. It is a beautiful product though. It's not super, super patchy, but I do find when I wear it on its own, it can be a little more difficult to apply. Also, one thing that does kind of annoy me about it is mine kind of comes off in little chunks every time I dip my brush in it. I don't know if it's just this particular bronzer or if all of the shades are like this. I haven't really heard anyone else mention that, but that does kind of annoy me. It's not a deal breaker, but I thought I would mention it. But I do love that L'Oreal came out with a pretty good shade range on bronzer, which is difficult to find. This one is okay. Not my favorite drugstore bronzer I've ever used. I actually love the Neutrogena Healthy Skin Bronzer a little bit more. But that one is more of a radiant finish, and it also doesn't have the shade range that the L'Oreal one does. So that one is okay, but not a tip-top favorite for me. And then I also tried this bronzer from Clinique. This is the True Bronzer Pressed Bronzing Powder in the shade Sunkissed. I bought this for my full face of Clinique that I did a while ago. This is a beautiful powder bronzer. It's pretty warm and it does have a little bit of shimmer in it, but it's very subtle. This is a true, like the name says, sun-kissed color, so it looks very realistic, as if you were out in the sun and actually got kissed by the sun. That's what this looks like. No one talks about this product. I'm not sure why. It kind of reminds me, honestly, of the Neutrogena Healthy Skin Bronzer, which is a lot cheaper. So that one is always going to be my pick, to be honest. But I do think this is nice. I would go with Neutrogena though, just based on the price difference. Moving on to blushes that I've tried. I did try my first blush from Saie. This is their, what is this called? The Dew Blush. I have the shade Rosy, and this is the blush that I have on today. I tried this in my most recent trying new makeup video, and I love this formula. It is to me, it's kind of a liquid blush on training wheels. If Rare Beauty blushes kind of scare you, I would maybe try these from Saie. They're very sheer, and to me, they're just a lot less intimidating than Rare Beauty. I don't ever worry about applying too much of this one, whereas the Rare Beauty, if you've tried those blushes, you know you need the smallest bit. It's very easy to go overboard with those. This is almost like a blush tint, I would say. It's not super opaque, which I personally love. I absolutely adore this, and I plan to buy at least one more shade of it. I have shade Rosy, and I've really been enjoying this. It has the doe foot applicator, and this color is just like the perfect peachy pink, but you can see it really does blend out to a really sheer color. Definitely love and recommend. The other blush that I tried is the Clinique Chubby Stick Cheek Color Balm. I also bought this for my full face of Clinique, and I like this as well. I have this shade Amped Up Apple. This is also a pretty sheer formula. I do love the color on this. It's kind of a rosy color. If you're familiar with Clinique, they're kind of known for their chubby products, the chubby sticks, chubby cheek products. They have chubby eyeshadows. That's kind of one of their classic products, and I enjoy this. I will say I reach for the Saie one more. I like a liquid blush like this with a doe foot more than I like a stick. One thing I did want to point out though about the Clinique, this one, in my opinion, needs to be set with a powder blush over it, whereas the Saie one, I feel like lasts pretty well on its own. So if you're someone that only wants to wear one blush, I would probably go with the Saie formula or the Rare Beauty. That one lasts really well. Also, this one is more of that balmy consistency, so it's kind of like lip balm on your lips. You do need to go in and reapply it throughout the day, but it is still nice. But of the two, I would probably pick Saie. I've tried a few new brow products. One of them is definitely a new favorite. One of them is not. I tried again from Clinique, the Quick Liner for brows. I bought this again for my Clinique video, and I didn't really think much of it. I kind of just picked it up so I would have a Clinique brow product, and I really like this. It's very creamy, very easy to use. It has a really small tip, which I really like. It has a spoolie on the end, and I've really been enjoying this. I wear the shade Soft Brown. This is what I have in my brows today. However, I do not think you need to spend a lot of money on brow pencils or brow pens, really. I think NYX Micro Brow is awesome, and it's about half the price of this, so I would still go with NYX, but this one is very nice. This I would not recommend from Neutrogena. This is the Micro Tint Serum Pen. I was really excited to try this. I love the NYX Lift and Snatch pen. This is a great color. What color is this? Medium brown? Yeah, medium brown. It has a really nice, fine tip on it. You can get really good, like realistic looking brow hair strokes. But this dries out way too quickly. It's just not even worth it. I think this was around $10, something like that. Honestly, after using this one time, the next time I went to use it, the tip of it was already starting to get kind of dry. And I find that I can still make it work, but I have to constantly shake it, try to get more product, shake it, try to get more product, which is annoying. I don't typically have that issue with my NYX Lift and Snatch. So this I am not a huge fan of. I've tried 2 eyeshadow palettes. I feel like I've tried something else. But the 2 main eyeshadow palettes that I've tried is the new Pat McGrath Moonlit Seduction palette and the Urban Decay Wild Greens palette. This one was not a new release, this one was. The one that I have on my eyes today is actually the Wild Greens palette. And I have to be honest, I was kind of skeptical about buying this because I've kind of seen mixed reviews on it. I absolutely love this palette. I thoroughly enjoy it every time I use it. I love that you get a good mix of neutrals and you get the green shades. I love a good green eyeshadow. They are more muted shades, so I feel like it's a good palette for someone that typically wears neutral, but you want just a little bit of color. I absolutely love this. I've been reaching for this more than the Pat McGrath palette. We'll talk about that in a minute, but this, absolutely love. If you love these tones and you like something a little more subdued, I guess, on your eyes, I absolutely love this Wild Greens palette from Urban Decay. And then I did do a whole video on my Pat McGrath palette. This was my very first Pat McGrath palette, or my Mothership palette, the first Mothership palette that I've gotten. And it is stunning, you guys. I would never say that it is not. I think the shimmery shades in here, like everyone says, I totally agree, they are out of this world. The mattes are okay. They're not bad, but they are not as buttery and easy to blend as I would think they might be for this price point. I definitely think the Pat McGrath shades in like the topper shades or the shimmery shades are where these palettes really shine. I'm super happy to own this. I love the color story. I don't know that I will now feel the need to buy more of the Mothership palettes. I may eat my words on that. I don't know. We'll see. It is beautiful, so don't get me wrong, but in terms of something I use often, I use something more like this more often. Like that's what I put on today. This is more of a special occasion palette. So do I love it? Yes. If you have tons and tons of Pat McGrath palettes, do I think you just have to have this one? Probably not. One other eyeshadow product, I don't have this on today because I did use the Wild Greens palette, but one thing that I've gotten recently that I love is the new Eyes to Mesmerize from Charlotte Tilbury. She came out with 3 new shades, and I got one. Mine is in Exagger Eyes, and this may be my favorite one and done eyeshadow of all time, to be honest. It's like a bronze, but it's not too yellow, it's not too gold. It's like a true brownie bronze with a really pretty shimmer to it. I love this, you guys. Every time I wear this by itself. That's it there. Because you really just don't need anything else. Honestly, it is so stunning. It's easy to blend. I definitely prefer this over her previous Eyes to Mesmerize shadows. If you don't have any of them yet, I would look into her new shades, Exagger Eyes, Sunlit Glow, and I forget, there's a third one. But Exagger Eyes is so beautiful. I haven't been trying too many mascaras. I'm trying to kind of use up what I have, but I did get the Clinique High Impact Mascara for the Clinique video that I referred to a few times. This is okay. I have black brown. I typically prefer black brown. This is the mascara I have on today, and this is just okay. It's not bad, but it's definitely not great. I wouldn't repurchase it. It's called High Impact, but I feel like it does not give much impact, to be honest. I don't know, it's kind of mediocre. I would not pay the price for this. I would buy L'Oreal Voluminous Balm Mascara or Maybelline Sky High. I will say one good thing about this though, I did want to point out, I do find this one does not smudge, which is really good. If you struggle with that, sometimes I struggle with that, and that is a definite plus for me, but I don't love it enough to feel compelled to repurchase. And finally, I have tried a few new lip products. These are also not favorites for me. The first thing I did try is the oh gosh, what is this called? The Lip Sculpt and Setter. So this is what I have on today. For lip liner. So you get a lip liner on one end. I have mine in the shade Taupe, and it is a beautiful color. That is the shade Taupe. I love the color. It's a nice formula. It's pretty creamy and easy to apply. The idea is you use the lip liner and then you go in with this product, which is a setter, and it's supposed to make your lip liner last all day. I mean, I don't think this lip liner wears off super quickly if you use the lip setter, but I don't know that I notice a dramatic difference. It definitely lasts, but not anything out of the ordinary. I also don't love the consistency of the lip setter. It's a very odd consistency. It's kind of like a silicone feel on your lips. Almost feels kind of velvety. I don't know. I don't love it. So I find that I don't reach for this a ton. So I personally would not recommend this. And lastly, I did get some products from Kosas. I got these 3 products in a lip set: the hot liner, lip liner, the lip oil, and the plump and juicy collagen lip boost. So I got mine in a set together. I wanted to love this lip liner. Something is weird with the formula on this. It is a very dry formula. So that is it there. I have the shade Mega, and you can make it work, but you have to really bear down with this one to get any pigment. So it works, but it's not a super enjoyable experience, to be honest. I would probably skip these from Kosas. I don't know if it's just the shade that I have or what. I've seen kind of mixed reviews on these. I didn't love that. I do really enjoy the lip oil. I think, what is this? The wet lip oil. I have the shade Unzipped, and that is what I have on over the Refi lip liner today. This I really like. It's very thin, but it's not sticky, which I really enjoy, and I do like this. I would buy this in another shade. This one is Unzipped, and it's kind of a light beigey pink. So this I do like. The new Plump and Juicy Collagen Lip Boost, it's nice. I don't notice any plumping though. I don't notice any dramatic results from it. The only thing I can say is it does look nice and it does feel nice. If you have a lot of this type of product, I think you could skip this. All right, you guys, that is going to be it for this speed reviews video. Let me know if you like these and I will keep doing them. I'd like to do them more often just so I can kind of stay up to date on all the products that I'm trying, but let me know if you like these videos. I tried not to talk too much about each thing, but I do like to give as much information as possible that I think might be helpful for you. I will list and link the products below for you. I do use affiliate links, so if you shop through them, I do make a small commission. So thank you for helping to support me and my channel. Make sure to subscribe if you are new and follow me over on Instagram at simply.blair and TikTok simply.blair1. And I will see you next time. Remember, simply be you.